talking with a hiring manager recently, and she was so frustrated with this particular candidate who was great on paper, but was not as fluid and confident when answering questions during the job interview. And in her frustration, she just attributed this to the younger generation. The gentleman was a Gen Z, and went on to say things like parents these days ought to teach their kids, and she was off to the races. Let's talk about this. I'm April Simpkins, and I'm a certified diversity professional. And yes, that's a thing. My area of expertise is generational diversity, which I parlayed into the study of multi-generational workforces. Now, it did not surprise me at all that the applicant, who looked great on paper, seemed a little uncomfortable and maybe to her on some levels unrelatable during the interview. Now, let me give a little backstory here. I'm a proud Gen Xer, and some are baby boomers, some out there are older millennials, and I group us together because we grew up with the home phone. And we became comfortable at young ages talking to authority figures via phone or in person. Those pretty much the options that you had before cell phones, app, online shopping, the internet. I digress. And so we sharpened those skills. As a matter of fact, if I wanted to call my friend when I was young, I would call my friend's home, and it was likely her mother or father who would answer the phone, and I would politely say, hello, Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith, this is April, may I speak to? And then give my friend's name. And then my friend would jump on the phone, and we would giggle and laugh and chit chat until it was time to get off the phone. I understood from a young age how to code switch between talking to a person in a position of authority and talking to someone who was just a peer. After a certain period, younger millennials and definitely Gen Z, cell phones became pretty much commonplace. So you did not have to talk to someone first who was in a position of authority. You could direct dial your peer. And so the skill of code switching to talk to a person in a position of authority is sharp. Now, I did share this with that hiring manager, and she appreciated the insight, and it helps her see things a little differently. I also suggested that if this is the person who you think is good for this position, and this is kind of the one little hiccup, then certainly as part of this person's onboarding and for this company that does a lot with just personal and professional development, this was a candidate who would just need to be mentored. And they also had a great mentor program. And so the mentor could certainly work with this young man on what I like to call code switching, the difference between talking formally to a person in authority or clients and talking informally to friends and peers. Something that seems so simple made a huge difference for this hiring manager and her ability to get a good candidate. I told her she could hire him and go this route, or, wait for that magic unicorn who would, I don't know, I guess maybe have it all. Anyways, I love talking about generational diversity and providing insights. So if this was interesting to you and you want to hear more, just let me know in the comments. I'm glad anytime to talk about it.